everyone, this is Maya and thank you so much for being here with me in another Sims 4 speed build. Today, we're building something a little bit different, something closer to my home, to my country, and this is Casa Manila or Manila House. This is up on my gallery under the ID MAIAmakes, and I built this on the 40 by 50 lot in Magnolia, Promenade. And this is also part of the Kababayan Sims Collab hosted by SimNice on Instagram, SimNice or at SimNice. Anyway, it's on Instagram and it's fully functional, absolutely no custom content, and the best part is it's up on my gallery, so you can go download it there and use it for your Filipino kind of gameplay. First off, I think I should start with saying sorry because of 3 things. First off, this build is super duper late. It's been in the making since I think early June, and it should have been posted by around July 26, and now I'm a week late, and all the other builders have posted all their builds and I'm the last one to post, so absolutely sorry on that. It's been a crazy kind of week. And another thing that I'm sorry about is this will be a 2-part speed build. This first one here will be the exterior, and the second one on the weekend, hopefully I can upload it by the weekend, will be the interior speed build. And lastly, I'm sorry if you hear any background noises during this voiceover because it's the Philippines, it's Manila, so it's noisy during the evening. But anyway, this is my build and I'm super proud of it. But also, please check out the other builds by the other builders. You can check them out in Instagram, here in YouTube as well, in Twitter probably. The other builders are Simple Cheeks, built by Rafi, Plumary Sims, and of course SimNice. So, a fun fact, this build has been actually going on for 3 years now. And this is the 3rd year, and I'm so happy to be part of this collab because when this collab started back in 2020, I was still a person who was watching speed builds, person who was watching other builders do their thing, and I longed to be part of this collab, and it's such an honor to be here and showing you the speed build. I actually discovered this build collab when Freezer Bunny posted about it back in 2020. He's my favorite builder in The Sims, and he's also Pinoy. And if you didn't know, there will be a new expansion pack that will be coming this July 28th. It's the high school, I forgot, is it just called the high school expansion pack? But anyway, I'm super happy because Freezer Bunny will be one of the official builders of that expansion pack. So that means that you would see his build in one of the lots in the new world. So I guess congrats, Freezer Bunny. And honestly, Pinoy represent, and I'm so happy for him. So I guess my way of Filipino representation in The Sims would be this build, and honestly it's probably my masterpiece. Ever since I started building in The Sims, this is probably my most detailed, most elaborate, and probably one of the most expensive builds because this build is only on a 40 by 50 lot, but it costs around 800,000 simoleons. So that's a lot, but honestly, it's reasonable since it is one of the finer, more luxurious houses back in the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines. So yeah, probably one of the reasons why this took so long is it's because it's so expensive, and I did try my best to make it functional. Every furniture here in the second part of the speed build would be functional. You would see that I did a lot of things to make it functional, and of course I wanted to make it close to the source material, to the pictures that I saw online. If you don't know what I'm talking about or don't know what I'm building after, here's a little bit background of Casa Manila. It's a lifestyle museum in Intramuros, or the famous walled city in Manila, which is also a famous tourist spot these days. And this museum depicts the more luxurious colonial lifestyle of the upper class during the Spanish colonization of the Philippines. So it's actually a standing and existing museum, but it's just a replica of a house. It's not the actual house that was built in the 1850s. It's just a replica of a house that was originally in a different location in Manila. And this museum was just built in the 80s. It was just like a recreation of the original house, and its architecture is designed after a bahay na bato, or house of stone. It's called that because the first floor is entirely made out of stone, while the second floor is made out of wood. I really love it. It's so beautiful, and I didn't even know we had these kind of homes up until I saw Freezer Bunny's video on this collab. So he also made a bahay na bato, but it was a different kind, I think. And I just fell in love with this kind of house because the ingenuity, the creativity of the simple details and design concepts of this house is at par with like Japanese or Korean homes, because it takes into account like stuff like ventilation, sunlight, and even structural integrity of the house against earthquakes, because the Philippines is an earthquake-prone country. And not only was it built smart, but it was built beautifully, and it's so diverse. It's a mixture of a lot of influences. There's a mix of Filipino, there's a mix of Spanish, and even Chinese, with the roofing that you saw earlier that was terracotta tiles, and it was, I think it was an import by the Chinese. And it also features some intricate carved furniture made by Chinese furniture makers. So it's really an amalgamation of a lot of cultures, a lot of amazing minds that made this kind of house. So yeah, I'm so enthusiastic about this house, and it's the reason why I've been craving for a visit to Intramuros since the pandemic started. It's so smart, and I wish that more homes in the Philippines were styled after it. Actually, there are a lot of bahay na bato in the Philippines, scattered around in different regions. Like along a city street or a highway, you would definitely see a bahay na bato. Although, most likely or not, it would be dilapidated, abandoned, like it's not really conserved well. I hope though that there would be a better way to conserve it, like an initiative by the government to conserve these kinds of homes, because they're really beautiful and they're really smart, and it adapts well to the environment. Well, actually, I did visit Intramuros earlier this year, but I haven't gone to the actual museum because it was such a bummer, because it closes early, like around 5 p.m. and we arrived at Intramuros around 2 p.m. and instead of going there first, we went to a different part of Intramuros, like the other end of Intramuros. And when you're in Intramuros, it's not really good to drive around. It's better if you walk around or use a bike, and we couldn't go to Casa Manila in such a short period of time, and it closed. But I do hope that I get to visit it someday and be there in person and see all these pictures come to life that I've been using as a reference. And I don't know, maybe see if my build really did justice to the actual museum. But yeah, this is my build, and it's not a museum, it's not functional as a museum. I did make it into a functioning residential home, so you could use it for your Sims if you want to do some Spanish colonial gameplay, I guess. If you've been here a while in this channel, this is not my first Filipino-Spanish colonial-inspired build. I actually did the Filipino Sala Mayor. I'm not sure, maybe a year ago. It was for someone's build challenge, and it was the first time that I've ever won a build challenge. And basically, it's just a part of the Bahay na Pato, and it's the living room. It's a very fancy living room. And the second one that I did was inside the muros because I didn't know what to call it. And basically, it's also a bahay na bato, but what if it was in an apocalyptic setting? So I also did that for a different build collab that was also a group of Filipino simmers. And then the latest one that I did, other than this one, was the Filipino cuarto or bedroom. And I did that for my own build challenge where I made a room based on my culture, on my heritage. So yeah, from all those builds that I did, you can see how enthusiastic I am about this style of build. And to be honest, it takes more time to recreate than my other builds. Even my Ghibli build series, and I keep saying that I built so long in Ghibli builds, but this was the epitome of building the longest. I'm not sure how long this lasted me, but I'm pretty sure it was probably more than 12 hours, around 20 hours, I guess. And of course, this wouldn't be possible without tool. And you see here that I'm trying to make a kalesa, or I think it's horse-drawn carriage, although it's different from a normal carriage where it has 4 wheels. Kalesa has 2 wheels. And in fact, when you go to the Philippines, or in Manila specifically, kalesas are still used, although it's only used by tourists. And I've ridden a kalesa before back when I was a really small child, and yeah, it's good. It's a good experience, although it is quite a smelly experience because you're sitting right behind the horse, and you know what comes out the behind of a horse, and there's like this, I don't know how to call it, like a poopy sack, I guess, right in front of the driver, and yeah, you feel the wind gushing through your face, and also that smell, that really fresh smell of manure. Anyway, so yeah, I did use a lot of the tool mod, but you won't need the tool mod when you download this build because it's CC free and you can use this build the way that I built it. So yeah, it's really fun to share these small educational details about my culture in The Sims, and you can too, because I have a build challenge, as I said, on Instagram where it's called #WhereInTheWorldChallenge. I'm thinking of extending it to August 30, which is my birth month, so it's just appropriate to see all your builds by that time. So basically, all you have to do is build a room based on your heritage. I uploaded a shell of the room and you can just change it up and recreate your own culture, maybe your flag even, something about your culture, your heritage, your country, and just show it to me and maybe give a little bit of background on it. And my favorite build would receive a Sims 4 kit. So if you're up for that challenge, I guess, you can download the room off of my gallery under MAIAmakes. So right now, this is probably the only time that I'm explaining what's going on with the speed build, but right now I'm doing what they call the banguera. And this is one of those details that I'm telling you about that is so smart, because the banguera is basically a dish rack that is by the window. So your plates would dry faster and naturally by the wind, I guess. And beneath it is the aljibe, or it's a water cistern that collects rainwater or maybe potable water, and it's used for plumbing throughout the house. And it's usually located in the azotea, or it's like the terrace of the house. I guess it's an open air terrace or porch. And I always remember this term, azotea, because I read it in a book, and it's usually where lovers meet, like discreetly meet. So I guess you'll see that in the cinematic tour later on. Yeah, I keep remembering that chapter. It says suyuan sa azotea, and it basically means courting by the azotea. So anyway, that's a lot of details. Sorry if it was kind of a brain dump. And you're so close to the end of the video. Thank you so much for still being here, and if you liked this video and want to see more of my builds, do like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. The build tour's coming up, and I wish y'all have a lovely day. See ya!